All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. So today we are going to be talking about the Machete Saw. So the Machete Saw, in specific, has a unique advantage over all the other machetes in the game. And while there are other machetes that are usable, I would not suggest you use any machete that is not a Saw. And the reason for that is Exodia Brave. For those of you that don't know, Exodia Brave is on heavy attack kill +5 energy rate for 4 seconds, and it stacks up to 3 times. This effect is incredible and is much easier, even with its reduced price, to get than Energize. So, this is not only better than Energize in terms of energy generation, but much easier to acquire, as all it is like just a bunch of plains bounties. And if you can afford on your build to use a different melee weapon other than some of like the top tier melee weapons like the Reaper Prime and the Nakana Prime and other such weapons, this is a really solid choice for patching up your energy economy on very heavy energy economy warframes, like say like a max power strength Rhino or a Chroma. And those are two good examples of warframes that don't really need the best melee weapon but would like more energy. And this really helps out with that in a big way. So this build is not that crazy. It is basically just, I'm using Amalgam Organ Shatter, I'm using Killing Blow. These are going to give me very fast heavy attacks. Berserker is going to help speed me up even more. And then, you know, we have the extra damage from Killing Blow, crits on Amalgam Organ Shatter, Sacrificial Steel and Pressure, bigger crits on our big heavy attacks. You don't have to use Sacrificial Pressure. You could use Prime Pressure Point, and that makes this build much cheaper. But I have it here. Corrupt Charge. This just gives us 30 initial combo. This is going to make our heavy attacks way, way stronger because we're always going to consistently be at a 2x combo. Prime Breach is going to make them much larger. And yeah, the only changes that I would say you could make to this build are you can change out Berserker for the cold dual stat mod if you don't feel like you're going to be heavy attacking like all the time. With this, like if you're going to be using a primary or secondary weapon and then only whipping this out just to get the energy generation whenever you need it, you could probably switch this out for the viral dual stat, and it would be just fine. But in general, I use it like this, even if I'm, you know, mainly using a different weapon because it's not that different either way. So for this, there's only one kind of quirk about this weapon that is really worth noting, and that is that it has 2 heavy attacks where you spin and then you slash downwards. Obviously, spinning is much better than slashing downwards, so we would like to avoid slashing downwards at all costs. Thankfully, if you simply fully equip the melee weapon and block and then heavy attack, you will never do the second heavy attack in the string. You will just spin around like the old Cleaving Whirlwind days before that stance got nerfed. And that's pretty much the strat. This will proc slash all the time, force procs, so it's going to be able to get through armor pretty reasonably, and in general, it's just going to myrtleize the shit out of all the things that it touches for most levels. In this case, we're going to be doing a level 80 test, which is going to be higher than most people are going to run into, unless you're on the steel path, in which case there's, you know, many specific builds that easily do the steel path, and this isn't in particular like super for those, but you could do it if you really wanted to. So for this, we're also going to dump all of our energy, or as much as we can here, and show how much energy this generates, because it is quite a lot. It's also worth noting on this Excal build, I do have Quick Thinking and Flow, so there is like a small synergy between my Excalibur's survival and it generating a bunch of energy, which is worth noting, as in a lot of cases, level 80 enemies would tear Excal apart with his little 4 mod build or whatever he's on. Yeah, you can see the energy generation is pretty solid. Nope, that one's under the effects of Ancient. And of course, you can use the slam attack to stun out enemies that would try and stun you out. And heavy slam attacks do reasonable damage. But mostly this is one of the few cases where the lift is going to come into play if you need like more than one heavy attack to kill dudes. You can see, obviously, we generated all the energy we could here. A couple of it was orbs, obviously, but the energy generation was extremely high throughout killing all these dudes. But But yeah, that's like really what this is. It's more of a tool than anything else. I'm not going to say this is like one of the best melee weapons or something like that, but if this is an effect that you need on any given build, this is like basically the place to get it, with the exception of you could go with a Scythesaw, but I tend to prefer the Machete for this job. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you tomorrow.